As you may have noticed, the war in West Asia is not just a geopolitical issue anymore, but what's happening between Iran, the US, and Israel is now directly affecting industries, economies, and even your next car purchase. Welcome to Autocar Professional POV, our explainer series where we break down the biggest shifts in the global automotive industry from an Indian lens. Now, India's automotive industry is already feeling the tremors. Let's start with the biggest risk. India imports 85 to 90% of its crude oil, and a large part of that oil flows through one critical route, which is the Strait of Hormuz, which carries nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. That's not all. Around 60% of LNG and nearly 90% LPG also passes through the same route. So as you can imagine, if tensions rise here, India's energy supply is directly exposed. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi has warned the conflict could last long, asking us to stay prepared, much like we did during the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll break down why in a bit. Now, thankfully, the Middle East is not a major supply of auto components, so direct supply disruption is limited, but for now. But the real challenge is energy supply. India's auto component industry, especially in forging, casting, painting, it depends heavily on LNG gas. And right now, as you might have read, the industrial LNG supply has been cut to 80%. Priority is obviously being given to households and mobility fuels like CNG. Let's quickly break down how LNG is used in India. 60% is for CNG vehicles, 7% is for homes and households, and the rest goes for industrial supply, which is what is being curtailed right now. Obviously, when the supply tightens, industry will take the first hit. That's where the pressure starts building up. So in response to that, what are factories doing? They are switching to costlier fuels like LNG or even going back to diesel generators. Diesel is obviously more expensive and less environment friendly. Manufacturing costs because of this could rise by 15 to 25%. Also, a lot of vehicle manufacturing depends on crude derivatives as well. Like we have plastics, paints, synthetic rubber, tires, a lot of these different industries that are big in itself. They depend a lot on this supply. These obviously account for no less than 7% of the OEM revenues. So if crude prices stay this high, car prices may increase and cost pressure spreads across the supply chain. That's only if the conflict continues and the situation gets sharper. Diesel prices rise, logistics become expensive, fleet operators might see margin shrink. Demand for trucks and buses may slow. Companies like Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland could see softer demand. Since the government has to prioritize essential transport and households, industrial fuel could be rationed even further. And if this worsens, this could even limit our household supplies. That's where the PM's warning of preparing for a COVID-like situation comes in handy. Globally, shipping routes are already under stress because threats near the Suez Canal, shipping is being rerouted through Africa, adding around 15 to 20 days in the whole transit time, which obviously means more freight and insurance costs. As far as India's auto industry is concerned, exports make up 15 to 20% of passenger vehicles and two-wheeler sales. So even if direct Middle East exposure is limited, logistics disruptions hit exports profitability very hard. So far, production hasn't taken a major hit, but globally companies have started reacting. For example, Toyota has planned production cuts of around 40,000 vehicles for the Middle East region. But all players are not prepared equally. They've hedged their bets. Some automakers, for example, have used grid electricity, some have captive LNG plants, or some are investing in green energy and biofuels. This actually is a good time for local automakers who are heavily invested in exports to look at alternative fuel sources and energy requirement. Smaller suppliers also are at risk. Tier 2, Tier 3 suppliers, they don't have capital, they can't switch fuels that easily. So as small supplier system slows down, tier 1 gets impacted, OEM production faces bottleneck. It's a chain, as you can see. As in the industry, even a small disruption can ripple across the entire value chain. That is what is happening right now. Now let's talk about the consumers. As oil prices rise, fuel becomes expensive, inflation creeps in, the rupee weakens, and that hits consumer sentiment very hard. We have examples from the past that people tend to delay their purchases like cars. Early signals are already visible. Take a cue from how the stock market is performing. But there's also a very interesting turning point here. The crisis could accelerate a mental shift. How so? Automakers are already seeing that. Increased EV inquiries, more interest in hybrids and CNG and alternatives. There are many conversations around fuel-agnostic platforms, even from the companies. Take an example of CNG. Remember how it once grew from a cost-saving idea to mainstream. Uncertainty could push more people towards those alternatives. Let's summarize the 3 major impacts right now. 1 is energy stress, rising costs, tighter fuel allocation. Number 2 is production pressure, factories adapting, suppliers under strain. Number 3 is consumer caution, delayed demand leading to changing customer preferences in the future. It's obviously building a fertile ground for that at this point. If the conflict is short-lived, the industry can absorb the shock like it is done in rare earth crisis, for example, semiconductor crisis. But if it stretches, inflation will rise. Production could become uneven. Costs can be passed on to consumers for a long term. And the shifts to EVs, CNG and alternative fuels will accelerate for sure. Which means now automakers will have to rethink everything from supply chains to energy sources and risk strategies. Because in the new normal, building cars is no longer enough. The real challenge now is building an industry that can survive uncertainty like a pro. And that was our POV. If you found this helpful, hit like, share it around, and subscribe to Autocar Professional for more deep dives into the trends shaping India's auto future. See you next time.